Guys that got back were back out again. So Menelik Watson was able to get a little bit of individual and then had a little setback. The extent to what it is, I don't know. I'll have to wait and see after I talk to the trainers, after we evaluate those guys. Pat Sims really the same way. Jacoby Ford. Vance Walker wasn't here with he's having a child today, so he should be back. He should be back tomorrow. Guys that I don't anticipate playing in the game. Obviously, we'll see where Menelik and Pat Sims were. Jacoby, we'll find out, what the trainers say on that. And Vance Walker, it'll be questionable. Burris, Hayden, Kaluka, Lamar Houston, Billy Boyko, and Brandon Bear, all those guys will be out for the game. It's kind of where we're at right now. So we got about 48 hours before, a little over 48 hours before we kick it off. So we're excited. We're ready to get, 2013 underway, first preseason game, and excited to get out there and let our guys play and see what we can do.
You have your rotation set yet?
Yeah, we got the rotation. I mean, everybody that's healthy will play in the game. The ones will probably go out there for maybe a quarter or so. We'll see how the game plays out, and then obviously twos will probably take a couple quarters, and then the threes will probably end up the game in the fourth quarter. That's about what we'll plan on doing.
What's the plan for Darren during the preseason? How many reps does McFadden need to take
Well,
to be ready without risking him?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've seen it both ways. I've seen it where guys don't play in the preseason, and then obviously where guys do. It's my feeling that guys need to play, and so the anticipation is that we'll play him. How much we play him, we'll evaluate that as we go on, on a week-to-week basis. But he'll play in the preseason.
All the guys that returned today, quite a few guys, is your intention, barring of course the people who left, to have them play in the game?
My intention would be for them to play. Obviously, we want to evaluate how they respond to a good day's work, and obviously if they respond well, we'll play them in the game, probably in a limited fashion because they've missed a lot of time. But like I said, we plan on all the healthy bodies, getting out there and playing some.
So that means all four quarterbacks will play?
All four quarterbacks will play in the game.
Brandon, you have all the things that you want to accomplish in this game, but what kind of a look do you expect the Dallas Cowboys to give you, and what kind of challenge?
Well, I mean, they're a good football team. Obviously, offensively, they're a big physical team. They ran the ball really well the other day against Miami, so obviously I think that's something that they're trying to establish and work on, so we got to be prepared to stop the run. It looks like, they'll play a lot more of their ones in this game, so it'll be a good evaluation for us, both offensively and defensively, to get a little bit of a feel where we're at.
How much have you had a chance to really look at that game the other day? Are you still more focused on your guys?
No, we watched the game the other day. I mean, still the focus is going to be on us and what we do, but we want to give our guys a plan that gives them a chance to have success. So, it's still going to be a lot more about what we want to do, but we did give them a plan as far as what to expect out of Dallas.
And since you're a backup long snapper, and do you anticipate anybody but John Kondo snapping in the preseason?
Well, we'll snap somebody else other than Kondo. Right now it's Wiz. We're working with Cribbs also as a backup deep snapper.
Cribbs
so
Cribbs has done it before?
Yeah, he's a former quarterback. So but at some point in the preseason, we're going to have somebody other than John Kondo snap in a live game situation.
Well, this is sort of an obvious question, but can you talk about the importance of these games in the overall evaluation process?
Well, it's huge. Obviously, there's certain guys on the team that we've got a pretty good idea where they're at, but there's a lot of young guys that we've got to get an evaluation on, and really there's a lot of veteran players that we've got to get a good feel for. I mean, we got a lot of change, a lot of turnover on this football team, so we've never been to battle with a lot of these guys, so we want to put them in those situations and see how they respond. So this, for our football team, this preseason is it's a big deal as far as the evaluation process.
Charles Woodson looks like he hasn't hardly missed a snap pretty much since things.
He's done everything we've asked him to do. He's he's a real pro. So we're glad we have him, and he's going to make us a better football team.
How important is it for him to get in preseason games? Will he see less time than maybe some of the other secondary?
Yeah,
guys?
he may not see as much as some of the other guys, but he'll get in and he'll play. And again, a little bit like Darren, we'll evaluate that as we go through the preseason. But he'll play in the preseason.
What's your schedule like between now and kickoff, and what do you hope to get done from now until then?
Yeah, well, today we'll have meetings. We'll watch the practice from today. We'll start the install process on Dallas. We'll come back out tomorrow morning with some more meetings, install-wise to prep for Dallas. We'll go through a, kind of a dress rehearsal practice tomorrow against them, really a light practice without pads. And then we'll head down to the Marriott and get ready to play a game. Normal home schedule with the exception of we're leaving out of Napa as opposed to leaving from Alameda.
How do you balance, all the practices you put in out here, and say if there's receivers that are maybe having some problems with drops out here, yet if they get in the game and they make some nice plays as well as more sure-handed guys start dropping them in games,
Yeah.
how do you?
Well, it's no different than when you were in college and you had to take exams. All right, there's a lot more weight put on the exam, and this is one of 4 exams that we get a chance to take. So, when the lights come on and you're doing it for real, that's when the players have to show up. So there'll be more emphasis put on, performance in the preseason.
Given that and the fact that you're going to battle with Flynn for the first time, what do you want to see from him in the actual?
I want to see him manage the game. I want to see him manage the game, move the offense down the field, and put points on the board. That's what I want to see out of Matt Flynn.
What has stood out to you from the progression you've seen from him just throughout camp?
Yeah, well, I think he's gotten a better grasp of what we're trying to do offensively. He's more in command of what we're doing. I think, obviously from the process through OTAs, through minicamp, and now into training camp, he's really progressed well, and. It'd be good to put him in live action and see what he does against another opponent.
Can you give us an early evaluation on a couple of rookies, Andre Holmes and Latavius Murray, their progression so far?
Yeah, well, Latavius obviously, I still don't know a whole lot about yet because he's missed a lot of time due to injury. So this preseason will be big for him to, step up and show us what he can do. And Andre Holmes, to this point, I've been pleased with. He's a big target, a physical player, and so again, this preseason will be big for him.
So far, how's your impression about Eddie Carmona?
Eddie's done a nice job. All right, Eddie's got a tough job because he's behind, maybe one of the best kickers in the game. So, but this will be an opportunity for him, to showcase himself to the other 31 teams in the league, and as well as for us to get an evaluation because, you never know what's going to happen.
Are you planning to play him this Friday?
Yeah, Eddie will play. My plan is to kick Seabass and Cluey in the first half and Marquette and Eddie in the second half.
Coach, how's Jack Crawford progressing in his second year, and do you see him playing more inside or outside this year?
Well, I see him playing outside in the base downs and moving inside and playing inside in the nickel stuff. So, this is a critical time for Jack. I think I've seen improvement out of Jack, but he missed a lot of time last year in the preseason. Didn't get a lot of play time during the season. So, this will be a good opportunity for him to, to really step up and show what he's got.
I know you said that you didn't really know the severity of the injuries to Menelik and Pat Sims, but is there anything that says that this was it like they weren't quite ready to go as it turns out, or is it
it'd be speculation for me to say whether they were quite ready or not. Our thought process was that they were ready to get out here and work, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Is there any feeling that maybe they re-aggravated the injuries?
Yeah, obviously that's the concern.
With the guys who are out on Friday, any of those guys have become long-term injury concerns in your mind, or you still think everything's pretty much?
Well, obviously long-term's relative. I still don't see anybody, with exception of potentially Miles Burris, being a major, long-term type of deal. Miles has not progressed like he or I had anticipated. So, he's probably from a standpoint of whether he's going to be ready for the opening game of the season, he's a concern.
Do you think maybe with the punters, or you still think Cluey's a little bit ahead of Marquette at this point?
It's really played out about like I've said. I mean, Chris is a little bit more consistent, but the good thing for Marquette, he's going to have an opportunity to step out in the games, and he had the same opportunity last year, and I thought he performed well in the preseason last year, so we'll give him another opportunity to see what he can do.
In terms of Watson, he's missing so much time. Getting back, is it disappointing he doesn't have a chance to start catching up?
Yeah, it is. I mean, he's a guy that we're counting on. He's a second-round draft choice. He's got a lot of talent, a lot of potential, but he's got to be able to be out here, and I think he's as frustrated as any of us too. So, it's not from a lack of effort, but again, we'll see. I'll get with Rod and see where he's at.
Would it almost be more valuable for Marquette to get the kind of, you couldn't orchestrate it, but have, feet an inch from the back line, backed up in the end zone, make it seem him gets that kind of kickoff?
Well, I think I think anytime he has to operate under pressure, I think that's what we're looking for, to see how he responds when he's got a little bit of pressure on him. So, yeah, I think we talk a lot about situational football, and that includes everybody. That's specialists included. So, we try to put those guys in as many of those situations as we can, and if Dallas will let us script it, we'll try to work all the situations we can. I don't think they're going to let us do that, though.
Coach, you mentioned all 4 quarterbacks are going to play. What have you seen from Matt McGloin since you saw the team?
I've seen a smart, composed guy that throws the ball accurately, makes good decisions, goes to the right place with the ball. He understands the protections, and really that's really where he's kind of separated himself a little bit from Tyler. Although Tyler's been he's been a lot better as he's had a chance to kind of sit back and watch a little bit more. I think it's a good competition, and I'm anxious to see both those guys play against Dallas.
Is it important to have guys compete without any regard to draft position, or you look at all guys pretty much evenly at this point? We
got 90 guys on the roster, and all of them are competing for an opportunity to be, on the 53-man roster. So, I'm not paying a lot of attention to contract status, draft status. I mean, I'm trying to figure out, as well as Reggie, what's the right 53 guys for this football team.
More questions? Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.